Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the Run Your Day podcast today. My name is Dan Hafner. As always, we've got another great episode lined up for you today. Today's topic is this: doing what others will not. Thank you very much for joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show.
Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Today's topic: doing what others will not. Last topic I have for you inside of this theme of the week of the X Factor. This one kind of ties all of them together, right? Having an X Factor in life includes being something that is different. We talked about this earlier this week, being different and weird, being, going against the grain, doing things that are out of the ordinary that not everyone does. But today's topic, doing what others will not, comes down to two simple words: sacrifice and discipline. So let's look into each one of those a little bit more. Sacrifice. Doing what others will not ultimately comes down to the sacrifices that you are willing to make. If you have big, audacious goals and you are not willing to make sacrifices to get those goals, you're not going to get those goals. You're not going to hit those targets that you've set for yourself. It's that simple. A lot of times, something audacious, something that scares you, includes cutting out other things in your life that aren't serving that purpose that you want to achieve. And that means sacrifice. Whether it's cutting something out or adding something in, it means sacrificing not only, some resources, such as your time and your money, but it also means sacrificing possible opportunities and additional different avenues that you could have taken instead of the path you have chosen. It all comes down to your sacrifice, your willingness to forego the immediate gratification for the promise of something better, something bigger in the future. That is all it's about. The second part is discipline. Are you disciplined enough to stick to those goals, stick to your process that you've identified, and put in the work that is required to achieve what you want to achieve? Discipline comes down to doing the fundamentals, doing the little things well. And you look at any of the great athletes, for example, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, any of those guys. They focus on the fundamentals first. They were the best they were or are the best at what they do. And that is for a reason. It's not because, they are incredibly gifted people, but it's also because they had a work ethic that outdid everyone, and they focus on their discipline, their fundamentals. When LeBron James is out there, he's not even thinking about how he's doing his fundamentals, because he has practiced them so much that they're ingrained in everything he does. Tom Brady's the same way. Any athlete, like any athlete you can possibly think of, like if they're at that elite level, it is because they've been willing to sacrifice things, and it's because they've been willing to discipline themselves. Nobody can discipline you in the ways that it will take for you to reach a big goal in your life. Like, you can have someone pushing you or pulling you along all the way. You can have a mentor, or you can have somebody that's beside you working towards the same thing, and it's not going to push you as much as it pushes yourself. Like this is present in my life. Like if I have these big, crazy goals that I want to achieve, the motivation comes from me alone. My family can't push me. My wife can't push me. My fans can't push me. It has to come from me. There is no other source. And that comes down to my discipline. My discipline to keep going, even in the face of defeat, in the face of failure. And I'm going to fail. You're going to fail. That's part of it. That's what you have to accept about this type of approach to things. You're going to fail. And that's okay. That is okay. That is part of the process. If you're not failing, you're not growing. I've learned this in my own life as well. Like I'm in a position where, I have started succeeding more than I'm failing, and I'm starting to take a step back from that and realizing, okay, what am I doing wrong? Not what am I doing right? I'm thinking about it in a different frame. Do you understand? Like I'm saying, okay, I'm succeeding right now. I've been putting the work in to get to this point where I'm succeeding like this. But now that I keep succeeding and I keep succeeding in that same way, there's no growth. There's no opportunity for learning. There's no way to get better from there. You're stuck in a container that is only so big, and you're trying to. It's like being stuck in a box that's only so big, and you're trying to expand out of it. It's not going to work. You're going to break the box, right? So sacrifice and discipline. I talk about some of you younger generation folks, such as myself and even younger, this might sound like backwards and hard to hear at times, but, when other people are out, partying and drinking and stuff, like, are you out there with them or are you working? If it's 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, where are you? Are you in your office working, or are you out at the bar tipping back a few? Are you learning? Are you reading? Are you watching educational videos on the weekends or watching football for 12 hours instead of learning and reading and working on a side hustle or doing something that moves you closer to what you want to do? Like, we all have 24 hours in a day. And this is what this doing what others will not comes down to, because the people in this world that have achieved greatness, that have achieved riches, are willing to do what others are not willing to do with their time. They are willing to take risks. They are willing to put more hours in than anyone else. They're willing to outwork everyone else. That is how they got to where they got. There is no secret. People ask, what's the secret to success all the time? Work. That is it. It's work. It is hard work, and it is failure, and it is learning from failure. And it's doing the things that others are unwilling to do, doing what the 99% are unwilling to do in order to get where you want to get. This involves, like what we talked about in the previous episode, going against the grain, being against the crowd. You're going to stand out when you try to do things like this. That's just part of the beast. But are you willing to go that far? Are you willing to push yourself? Are you willing to sacrifice, to do what not only is required of you, but what others are not willing to do for the promise of a bigger reality, a better reality? You've got to put the time in. You've got to focus on the fundamentals. You've got to log those hours in the trenches when no one's watching, when it's dark outside, when you think things are going sideways and there's no way out for you. You have to be willing to put the time in, to discipline yourself. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. I don't care what you're going after. I don't care what you're trying to get to. That is the way, and that is the path. So my question for you today: how can you improve your sacrifices? How can you improve your discipline? I shouldn't say that. How can you, what are you currently sacrificing? Or are you sacrificing anything at all? And then how can you improve your discipline? What can you do today that someone else is not willing to do to make something better? What can you do today that someone else is not willing to do that will make something better? If this is inside your job, your relationship, your fitness, whatever, going the extra mile, whatever it is, do something today that someone else is not willing to. Win today. Run the day, baby. That's what this podcast is all about. Running the day. This is the essence of this message. So that is my challenge for you today. Thank you very much for joining. That is going to be all for the show and for the week. I will be back next week with some more shows, some more great content. And again, be sure to follow us on Twitter. We are at Runwage, and I'm putting a Facebook up here shortly, Facebook page. So be sure to check us out there. I will announce on Twitter when that is going to be announced, and I am working on getting an email list together. So be sure to join our email list, get updates of when the app is going to be released. It's going to be very, very soon, and it's going to be awesome. So be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And in the meantime, y'all have a good weekend. Get after it. Remember what I've said. Doing what others are not willing to do, especially on the weekends, is where this applies. Don't sit around and just be lazy. Get up, get after it, and do what others are not willing to do. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.